Good morning everyone, Jodie from Unconventional Cross Stitch. Just thought I'd do a quick floss tube. Been a long time, but I really need to do one because I have lots going on. I'm in my hoodie because it's cold. We're officially in winter. I don't think we've really had a summer. We even stopped swimming a lot sooner than we did the previous year, so I'm cold. My fingers are sore and cold. I need a heater or something in here in my office because when my hands are working with the mouse, they get really cold. Exciting though, new office chair. Woo! I am inherently stingy when it comes to buying stuff for my own benefit, and I have put off getting a chair for a very long time. But the constant sore lower backs were really hitting home with me. I wasn't able to stitch as long, so I sucked it up and I bought a chair. Not a super expensive one, but it's a lot comfier than what I had, and it has, you can't see, but it's got armrests, so it might even be helpful with my recovery. So on that note, for those of you in the know, this is old news for you. For those that aren't, I'm going in for major surgery on Saturday, but I also have some things going on Friday. Do I have a picture of it? No, I don't even know what I did with the booklet. Anyway, so the major surgery is a hip replacement. I'm pretty sure I'm going to throat punch the next person who goes, "You're so young for it, you're too young." I know. I'm really painfully, like quite literally aware that I am 32 and going in for one of two hip replacements because my specialist will expect me to go in for the other side in 2 years' time. So they think I was born this way. But basically I have hip dysplasia, so all the cushioning and all the fun stuff between my hip socket and my little ball is gone. It's just bone rubbing on bone, and my hip joint, like this part from my leg, has partially dislocated, so it's just sort of floating there, and it's just been for years and years rub. I'm at a stage now where I'm in a lot of pain, and I want to travel because the kids are old enough for it, and we're finally living in the city where international travel is a lot easier than trying to do it from, say, where we lived previously, where it was over $4,000 just to get from the town we lived in to the city centre. Yeah, they weren't cashing in on the mining dollars at all, were they, the airlines? So anyway, I really want to travel, and I've realised just how much quality of life I have lost. I can't wear thongs, slip-ons, or really any kind of shoe other than an enclosed trainer shoe. To wear any other shoe, I end up in a lot of pain. Heels, don't even bother trying it. You know, most of the time, if I do like a walk in my mum's estate, I end up really sore. And I get to the point where I have to take frequent breaks. It is agonising for me to get home, and that's one of my favourite walks. Even all through uni, those sorts of walks were where I lived and breathed. You know, most of my flora surveys that I did for my own personal interest were done in those areas, and I can't tackle them anymore. I can walk to the school, but I have all but stopped walking to the shops because I end up sore by the time I have to come home. I am driving a lot more. Well, obviously I haven't been able to really run for years and years and years. To run would leave me sore for weeks. I can't even. I don't gym, and I actually blame the gym a fair amount for how quickly my hips degraded because I didn't know about the problem I had. I was doing an hour a day, 7 days a week, and that wasn't the first time I did that kind of gym punishment. I went through a phase in my younger years of doing up to 3 hours a day, 7 days a week, because I had a bit of an addiction to the gym. So I think that has a lot of issues and caused the speed up of my problem. I also have a lot of grey hair. So I'd say I've got about 1/3 of my head now is grey, and I have like this rogue streak of white, which I think is pretty cool. So there's a lot of physical parts of me that have aged way quicker than they should have. So I get that line a lot of, "Oh, you know, you're so young, you're so young, you're so young, you're so young." Guys, I know, and I just want to cha! Because even my nurse that's going to help me, I think that's that's the nurse that's going to help me anyway. She called me for my hip surgery and she was like, oh, you're awfully young. No shit, Sherlock. Do you not think I'm aware of that? I am 32 and going in for a hip replacement, but you know what? There are an increasing number of people my age or younger that are needing hip replacements. So I'm kind of sitting here, the scientist in me is like, what's going on? Why? Why are we doing this? Why are more people needing it? Are we just becoming better at telling when we need to do it? Or is there something wrong with us? Like, you know, like in humanity that we're wearing down quicker. And you know what, again? There's a lot of pressure to be fit and active and run and gym. And everybody I know who went to the gym has a problem. And I don't think it's so much the gym itself, but the fact that people like myself, an average Joe with no professional training whatsoever, rocks up to a gym and uses the equipment. And we might not be using that equipment right. So that's going to cause problems. And in particular, the classes I did, I condemn them now. You know what? It was high intensity. It was punishing for an hour. None of us have training, and there was one instructor out the front doing a sing and dance who isn't really focusing on our technique. And she can't be stopping showing us what we're meant to be doing during the routine to be constantly running around going, your technique's wrong, your technique is wrong. So we're going to do damage. So I think that aspect, if I was ever to gym again, I would have to have a personal trainer, and I would want one with experience, because I've had personal trainers in the past. They haven't been great. They've just done their course, graduated, and gone, oh, I totally know what I'm doing. No, you don't. You don't tell someone with back problems to be lifting what they're lifting. So anyway, that's aside the point. So I'm having my left hip replaced. I'm terrified. I've never had more than my tonsils out as far as surgery goes. So I'm doing that. I'm a bit excited because hopefully I get my quality of life back, and it's only now that I've agreed to do the surgery I've realised how much quality of life I have lost. I've also gained probably 10 kilos more than I would have liked because I'm not as active as I could be, and we had a bad swim season, so I wasn't swimming as often either. And that's nice and low impact, so I can do that without hurting myself. So as far as unconventional cross stitch goes, my good friend Carla, hi Carla, she's going to give me a hand with the stitched up weekends. My husband's going to do a lot of the hands-on things, because once I have my hip replaced, I can't bend at a 90-degree angle, can't do this, can't do that, lots and lots and lots of rules. And I don't want to screw it up, because if I screw it up, that sets back my recovery, which means it's longer I have to wait to go overseas, and that's sort of like my crown jewel. If I do this, I can go to Singapore, and I wanted to go to Singapore for ages, so it's all in the works. So I have to be really well behaved and do as I'm told, and then I've got therapy sessions and all these things to learn how to walk again. Because for me too, because of the way my hips have gone on my legs, I actually have one leg longer than the other, which sort of interplays with the limp I have. So I'm sort of like this, and the specialist reckons he's going to try and get my legs a bit more level, so that I'm not so lopsided. Yay! So I totally just got rudely interrupted. I have a really old phone with very little memory, so it actually ran out of memory to make a video. Go figure. And I literally have very little on my phone. Fun fact though, Facebook had a gig on there, so I have deleted that app and re-added it, because that sort of resets things. So bugger if I know what it stores on there. Don't think I really want to know. But anyway, so I had to do that for that one. Instagram is another big one. Music, so... And I don't even have many songs. I have like 3 songs because I'm a sad individual. And so I think I'm going to have to get another phone when this one's contract expires. If it hasn't already expired, that's a good point. How long have I been here for? Anyway, that aside. So, I talked a long time about my hip. So what else am I going to talk about? So on the website, I've been working my ass off, doing really well with that. I have now completed all the patterns. So all the patterns that you can't get on Etsy are on the website. You can download those. Side note, Afterpay isn't compatible with downloadable patterns yet, because there's this weird thing going on between Afterpay where they need a shipping address. It's downloadable, there is no shipping address, so they conflict there a bit. But if you also buy a physical product, you can get away with your download products too, because then it is collecting a shipping address. So if you want your downloads, just get a physical product too, and then you can download without having to do the workaround that we're working on at the moment. So as far as needle minders go, all the resin ones that I'm going to offer are up, and I've got a fair whack of these little babies done. So this is one of my badge style ones, button badge. So, so they're pretty cool. They're my favourites at the moment. I've been uploading digital representations because my OCD, and also there's a lot. There are on average, I'd say 40 or more per like category, and that's a lot of these to be hand cutting out and making. So I'm just doing digital representations, and I will replace with actual photos as we go, but there is an example of what everything looks like in a physical product on every single item. But I love how my website, because I'm not paying a listing fee for every one I make, is that I can have individual photos, so you can see that piece in particular. You're not sort of looking at a collection of, say, like 20 on one page going, oh, but you know, can I see that a bit closer? So in that regard, my website is better, but I have released on each line a small, between 8 and 9 of each design on Etsy if you prefer Etsy. I've also today I did an update on the subscriptions. So I thought I'd go over that with you guys. I've now put a subscribe button under each kind of subscription you can get, because that makes it, pardon me, a bit more simpler. So we've got PDF download patterns, so that costs you $18 a month. These are Australian fees. The website has to be in Aussie dollars because of the way Afterpay works, blah yada yada. So anyway, 18 Aussie dollars. So keep in mind too that that's as close as I can get to the equivalent of the US dollars for my American customers. So 18 a month. The term is monthly, ongoing until you decide you don't want to do it anymore. So what do you save? You save $2 off every pattern, and then you also get a free pattern every 6 months. So that's valued at 20 Aussie. So you're making an annual saving of 112 Aussie dollars. Lot of moolah. So I highly recommend the PDF download pattern. How it works is on the subscription page. Next one. Resin needle minder collection monthly shipments. So that means every month you get a new needle minder in the mail. So think of it like a magazine subscription. You get one every month. So I've got Australian, and then I've got international, because my shipping charges are different depending on where you are in the world. So there's one for Aussie, one for international. So you're making the same savings regardless of where you are in the world. So it costs you $15 a month in Australia, $16 a month internationally, and that price is shipping inclusive of. So that's again monthly, ongoing until you decide you don't want to anymore, and you're saving $1 a month on the cost of a minder, and you get a free minder valued at $10 every 6 months. So you're making an annual saving of at least $32, because the free one I send out is worth at least $10. So you might get lucky and you might get a gold one or a rainbow one or something fancy and special, or ones that I haven't even uploaded, ones never seen before. So that's pretty rad. And then, yeah, same savings for if you're international. And then we've got the button badges, which are these guys. So they are $11.50 a month Australian and $12.50 a month international. Again, Aussie dollar figures. So what are we saving? Between $1 and $2 a month on the cost of a minder, plus you get a free minder valued at $6.50 to $7.50 every 6 months, which gives you an annual saving of $25 to $39. So why the difference? Some of these, like these ones, are mine. And then other ones, which I don't have an example of at the moment, unfortunately, are based on artists' work. So Kaya or Megan or Nostromo, lots of those. So those ones are worth more because where an artist is involved, they get a commission, which is cool for them, cool for me. Everybody's a winner. We're supporting 2 artists in the process, which is really awesome because, like, being an artist is expensive. Let me just say that. So yeah, so that's why you're saving between. So it'll be a mix, it'll be a healthy mix. I'm going to go with it's going to be a 50-50 as far as mine versus artists go, because I like having an even mix. I think that's my OCD again. I'm a little bit OCD in some things. And then as well, once you've got one of those subscriptions going, you're going to get 10% off all your purchases in store, which is really, really, really awesome. There are a list of terms and conditions there for you that go over everything, you know, such as, you know, what you can and can't do. And then if you're not sure about anything, you've got questions, there's a little like email me form and you can get in contact with me and I'll get back to you, and that's how it works. So I'm pretty excited about that because, again, I am a little guy still, well, little lady. Just me, so, you know, to be able to offer those kind of savings, I'm really proud of. And I didn't realise either, I got Afterpay before some of the biggest retailers in Australia, so I was super proud of that. I was like, hey, I beat the big guys. Oh, damn. Like, really stoked with that. So, yeah, we got all that going on. What else have we got going on? So I've been working really, really, really hard on Octavius. My office is really crowded now. My chair is massive, so... Oh, look, he's upside down. Is he? Off you go, hold on. My video. So, here's Octavius. I hope you can see him. Yep. So here's Octavius, where I'm up to. So I finally reached the bottom corner. So that's a 2-page combo. As you can see, that's page 1, page 2 will be here. So I've been doing top, bottom, and then I'll do top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom until I'm finished. I was really, really, really hopeful that I would have finished Octavius before my surgery, because I think for a good 2 weeks I'm not going to be able to cross stitch because of the way my hips have to sit, and I don't think I can even sit on my couch, so I'm really restricted. So super disappointing. I don't know how I'm going to go for 2 weeks without stitching. Oh, it's like every cross stitch is nightmare, honestly. So I can't cross stitch for 2 weeks, I don't think. So Octavius will be pushed back for finishing. And of course, I'm months behind now on Fire and Ember because I'm like, I need to finish a project. These 2 big projects, Fire and Ember and Octavius, have been ongoing for over a year now, both of them as I swap between. I'm really keen to just get those 2 out of the way because, of course, as we reach sort of August, September, those months, we come into competition time with the shows. So I want something new, and Octavius is going to be my centerpiece. He's huge. He's about 1/2 meter tall. He's really going to be my centerpiece for the comps so that I can like really show what I'm going for. So what else will I put in this year? I'll probably also enter my Death Head Moth. See, I've got a big piece in Octavius, so I don't know if I'm going to do my cigar smoking hippo, which you can see in the background there. I don't know if I'll do him. And then, obviously, my next project I'm going to try and make a bit smaller, not have 2 such big pieces going up once. I also bought a heap of frames so I can have multiple fabrics done up at the same time, and then it'll be a bit easier to pick and choose. So I had to buy ink for the first time as well for it's called a CIS, Continuous Ink System printer. It's a more environmentally friendly way of printing because you're not going through all these printer cartridges or anything like that. It's just fed direct into the printer. So finally some of the manufacturers listened to what people have been doing to get around buying genuine ink tanks. And CIS has actually been around a long time. You predominantly buy them from China and you sort of wire them in, I guess you'd call it, to your printer, and it feeds the ink into your ink cartridges. There we go. Momentary brain fade. But I bought I think they were one of the first sort of retail available CIS systems. It's an Epson. And I went, I have really chowed down on ink because these ink tanks last around 2,500 pages. So, I've really flogged it in the time I've had it. So anyway, went to the shops to buy it, figuring, there must only be one for the Epson. No, as it turns out, there were 2. So this is the not for my model ink. And this is what the top of it looks like. And this is my actual ink. And that's what the top looks like. Very different, hey? So I had to sit there because my non-ink one has a membrane on it with a toothpick in there trying to gently squeeze it out without splooging nice pink ink everywhere. So that was fun, said nobody ever. And then I had to drive all the way back, so that was about an hour turnaround. So I had to bribe the kids with ice cream on that one. Bribery for the win. So yeah, did that. I've run out of things to talk about, I think. I think I've just about covered everything that's going on. I'm still doing shipments 3 times a week, but I will be pushing them back to a shipment time frame of 1 to 2 weeks after surgery because I just don't know how I'm going to go. I don't want to disappoint people and end up being late on shipments, so I'd rather say they're going to be a longer turnaround and be ahead of schedule than vice versa. So I've got that going on. I'm also looking into, you know, other ways that I can be more environmentally friendly because that's a big concern for me, especially with the amount of plastics and those sorts of things we've got in the ocean now. So I'm trying to find ways to be less wasteful. And one of the ways I already do it is that any needle miner that doesn't work out I'm keeping still, and I have a big bucket of seconds and then I put them up for sale at a cheaper discount rate. So they're still good, they still do what they're meant to, they're just a bit ugly, I guess you'd call that. So that's where I don't have one on me either, but that's where sort of the squares and the ducks come from, is when I'm doing batches of resin, any leftover resin I have from that batch will be poured in and I make all these cool coloured ducks and squares, and I tried cactuses, they didn't work out too well, but that's where they come from because I hate waste, especially resin. You know, it's still good. So I still end up with something that people can use, either as a, I've got lots of the squares as fridge magnets at the moment. I think they make awesome fridge magnets and they're pretty as well. So I've got that going on too. Yay. Yeah, so I think that's about it. I'm in school holidays at the moment too. The kids have been really good thus far, though they know I'm making a video, so they're going to be up to shenanigans. Spidey senses are tingling right here. Yeah, hubby's due back tomorrow. Yay! Back just in time to take care of me. Lucky him. Yeah, so we've got that going on. So, you know, hold that thought. Alright, so, because I can't cross stitch, I'm going to get bored batshit while I'm in the hospital for 3 days. I've got some books, but you can only read so much before you're like, So I bought, because we're coming into winter, well, we've already hit it. How pretty is this wool? I think this is the one my daughter picked, and they reckon I'll get a scarf out of that ball. And this is my son's choice. And then, yeah, I've got some knitting needles in there too. So I'm going to knit because I figure I can do that anytime, anywhere. No matter whether I'm laying down might be a bit difficult, but, you know, it's a bit more flexible. So I'm going to do some knitting. I do ugly knitting. It doesn't make any sense to me. I end up with like one normal, one purl. I don't care. It's an ugly scarf, but it does the job and I enjoy it. So, yeah. So I've got that going on. How exciting. Oh. I drove a long way for that, and then we went to the beach afterwards. That was nice-ish. It was cold, so maybe not as nice, and I don't like sand because it gets stuck between my toes and all through the car. A bit of a party pooper there. So, ooh. And I have, look, I'm really distracted at the moment. I keep looking at things. Anyway, so I'm just going to tie up the video there because I've been warbling on for a while. I hope to do another one when I'm able and recovered, so you might not hear from me for at least 2 more weeks because I also really get funny about doing these videos when hubby's around. I don't know why. So yeah, anyway, take it easy. I'm going to put links below for my website, the subscriptions, and also my Etsy if you're still keen, and they'll be at the end of this video. So take it easy, happy stitching, and I hope life's awesome wherever you are in the world. See ya!